U.S. President Donald Trump said on January 2 he would likely impose sanctions on Russia if its President Vladimir Putin refuses to negotiate about ending the war in Ukraine.
You've called for a ceasefire in Ukraine. If Vladimir Putin doesn't come to the table to negotiate with you, will you put additional sanctions on Russia?
Sounds likely.
Trump gave no details on possible additional sanctions. The United States has already sanctioned Russia heavily for its invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Trump criticized Biden, saying he must take responsibility for the war.
The war should have never started. If you had a competent president, which you didn't, the war wouldn't have happened. The war in Ukraine would have never happened if I were president. But that couldn't happen because the election was rigged.
Trump said his administration was also looking at the issue of sending weapons to Ukraine, adding his view that the European Union should be doing more to support Ukraine.
We're talking to Zelensky. We're going to be talking with President Putin very soon. And we'll see how it all happens. We're going to look at it very soon. One thing I do feel, the European Union should be paying a lot more than they're paying because under Biden, I mean, we're in there for $200 billion more.
Trump has said he will end the war in one day, and the whole world is watching to see if he can fulfill his promise. Worldwide News reports.
On Tuesday, January 21st, Marco Rubio was officially sworn in as U.S. Secretary of State, becoming the first cabinet nominee of President Donald Trump's second term. During his swearing-in, Rubio highlighted the core focus of his foreign policy, putting America's interests first. A former U.S. Senator and longtime Foreign Relations Committee member, Rubio is known for his tough stance on China and strong support for Israel.
His primary promise when it comes to foreign policy is that the priority of the United States Department of State will be the United States. It will be furthering the national interest of this country. The United States, as President Trump pointed out last night, we are headed into a new era that I think will make the world a safer place.
In his address to State Department employees, Rubio vowed to make the department the centerpiece of the administration, with a commitment to executing U.S. policies swiftly and effectively. The Cuban-American politician also expressed his dedication to promoting peace through strength while standing firm on U.S. values.
I also want this agency to be, and I don't mean, not that it's irrelevant now, but I want it to be where it belongs. I want the Department of State to be at the center of how America engages the world. Not just how we execute on it, but on how we formulate it. Some of the brightest minds in foreign policy reside within this building and within this government.
On his first day in office, Rubio met with representatives from the Quad, a coalition of countries working to counter China's growing influence in the Indo-Pacific region. His early actions signal a clear priority, confronting Beijing's power while reinforcing global alliances, especially in defense and cybersecurity. With these moves, Rubio aims to usher in a new chapter of U.S. diplomacy. Worldwide News Report.
U.S. President Donald Trump said on January 21 he was open to billionaire Elon Musk buying social media app TikTok, if the Tesla CEO wanted to do so.
I would be if he wanted to buy it, yeah. I'd like Larry to buy it too. I have the right to make a deal.
Trump on January 20 signed an executive order, seeking to delay by 75 days the enforcement of the law that was put in place after U.S. officials warned that under Chinese parent company ByteDance, there was a risk of Americans' data being misused. In response, China expressed approval.
TikTok 在美国运营多年，深受美国用户的喜爱，为促进美国国内的就业、拉动消费，发挥了积极的作用。至于企业运营和收购，应当根据市场原则，由企业自主决定。如果涉及到中国的企业，应当符合中国的法律法规。
Although TikTok has gained a temporary reprieve, it remained unavailable for download on Apple and Android devices in the United States on Tuesday afternoon. Worldwide News reports.
The World Health Organization expressed disappointment on Tuesday, January 21, after President Donald Trump announced the United States' decision to withdraw from the agency. The move follows Trump's criticism of the WHO's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic and other global health crises. He also claimed the organization was unduly influenced by political pressures from member states, particularly China, and criticized the financial contributions required from the U.S.
We paid $500 million to World Health, and I terminated. China with 1.4 billion people. We have 350. They were paying 39 million. We were paying 500 million. It seemed a little unfair to me.
In response to the U.S. withdrawal announcement, whose spokesperson expressed hope that the U.S. would reconsider its decision. He emphasized the importance of continuing the partnership between the U.S. and WHO, which has long played a vital role in global health.
WHO plays a crucial role in protecting the health and security of the world's people, including Americans, by addressing the root causes of disease, building stronger health systems, and detecting, preventing, and responding to health emergencies.
Noted that while it's too early to assess the full impact of the U.S. departure on the WHO's funding, the agency remains committed to securing the resources needed to support its mission.
We hope the United States will reconsider, and we look forward to engaging in constructive dialogue to maintain the partnership between the United States of America and WHO.
The U.S. is the WHO's largest financial contributor, providing about 18% of its funding, and its departure raises concerns about the agency's future operations and global health initiatives. Worldwide News Report. U.S. President Donald Trump on January 21 announced private sector investment of up to $500 billion to fund artificial intelligence infrastructure. OpenAI, SoftBank and Oracle plan a Texas-based joint venture called Stargate and have committed $100 billion initially and then up to $500 billion to Stargate over the next 4 years.
Together, these world-leading technology giants are announcing the formation of Stargate in the future, a new American company that will invest $500 billion at least in AI infrastructure in the United States and very, very quickly, moving very rapidly, creating over 100,000 American jobs almost immediately. A massive group
SoftBank CEO Masayoshi Son, OpenAI Sam Altman, and Oracle's Larry Ellison joined Trump at the White House for the launch.
The first of them are under construction in Texas. Each building's 500,000 square feet. There are 10 buildings currently being built.
This is not just for business. As Larry said, this will help people's life. This will help solving many, many issues, difficult things that otherwise we could not have solved with the power of AI.
The announcement on Trump's second day in office follows the rolling back of former President Joe Biden's executive order on AI that was intended to reduce the risks artificial intelligence poses to consumers, workers, and national security.
I think this will be the most important project of this era, and as Masa said, for AGI to get built here, to create hundreds of thousands of jobs, to create a new industry centered here. We wouldn't be able to do this without you, Mr. President, and I'm thrilled that we get to.
AI requires enormous computing power, pushing demand for specialized data centers that enable tech companies to link thousands of chips together in clusters, so the new AI allies in the US are being expected. Worldwide News reports.
Israeli security forces, supported by helicopters, carried out a large-scale military operation in the West Bank city of Jenin on Tuesday, January 21, killing at least 8 Palestinians. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu described the operation as a significant counterterrorism effort targeting Iranian-backed militants. This raid followed U.S. President Trump's announcement the previous day that he was lifting sanctions on ultranationalist Israeli settlers who had attacked Palestinian villages. Netanyahu framed the operation as part of a broader offensive against the Iranian axis in the region, which has become a hotspot for armed groups like Hamas and Islamic Jihad. In a related development, Israel's army chief, Herzi Halevi, announced his resignation, effective March 6. This decision comes in the wake of the October 7, 2023, Hamas attack, which Halevi acknowledged as a massive security lapse. He pledged to complete an internal inquiry into the incident and ensure that Israel's defense forces are better prepared for future threats. Halevi's resignation follows months of pressure and is expected to signal changes in Israel's military leadership. Worldwide News Report.
On his first day in the White House, Trump issued several executive orders, including one stating that there are only 2 sexes, male and female, and banning recognition of transgender identities, as he moved to quickly roll back policies promoting racial equity and protecting LGBTQ+ rights. Moscow residents expressed their support for this.
Это здорово, я считаю, здорово, что это и к нам доказывает так ерунда. Скопею, рассказываю, что там это то и дело про это ЛГБТ. Надоел уже, честно говоря, мне лично. А если не будет, это хорошо, мне это не нужно.
The other Moscow resident claimed that LGBTQ+ issues also contribute to demographic problems.
Ну, может быть, это будет положительно, но, наверное, давно пора. Потому что там проблемы уже из-за этого. Демографические и всякие остальные.
On the other hand, regarding the future of international politics, they are unsure if US-Russia relations will improve under the new administration.
Ну, хочется в это верить, во-первых, потому что, как мне кажется, у него другая позиция, он все-таки направлен на решение внутренних проблем своей страны. И, надеюсь, с его политикой отстанут от нас. Вот. И то, по крайней мере, о чем он говорит и заявляет, дает надежду, что все-таки внимание переключится.
Some other Russian citizens are doubtful over prospects of better relations with Washington and change of US policy towards Moscow. Nobody is interested in a strong Russia, one Moscow resident said. Worldwide News reports.